Well, here's where I disagree with what you're saying. So,
I mean, I agree that you can make money on the weekends. How do you provide the same level of service with less support? Because you're not going to have a backup of a backup of a backup. But when you tell somebody you're going to be out there and you're going to get the job done,
you got to be out there and get the job done.
Exactly.
People need that service on the weekends, and they understand what predicament that they're in most of the time. So we like to clearly
take advantage of that.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say that. I would say that.
Saying, dude.
Welcome to the Josh and Eric Show. I'm Eric.
And I'm Josh.
And today we're going to talk about weekends. People are always asking us, what do you guys do? Do you guys work on the weekends? Are you 24/7, right? And there's some pros and cons to that. So I've got a lot of experience in it. What about you?
I just hate when people ask me what I do.
Because you do so many damn things that you're like...
So, my favorite thing is to tell them is like porta potties. And the end of the conversation, I was like, really? That was kind of depressing.
We do need to tailor that a little bit, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm always like, sanitation, roll-offs, fuel,
Like, that's in the list, dude. People are like, bullshit.
I'm sure they do,
This guy doesn't
I'm just
do all
smiling,
that crap.
This is what I do, right? I mean,
You don't look that smart.
that's real life. That's real life. So, people are always asking us about the weekends, and I think it'd be a great topic to kind of talk about our experience in it and what we know.
Well,
And
if you're going to work for yourself, let's get this straight. You'll never have another weekend.
no, you'll never have another weekend.
So the kicker is...
If you're doing it right, and here's
Yeah.
my translation of what he's trying to say is you basically have to have a 24/7 mindset focused on your business. It's your baby, right? And the second that your systems aren't right and you can't manage that business, if you're not directly in it, you're eventually going to get yourself bit.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, you have to be at a mindset of 24/7.
Well,
right?
the kicker is,
Weekends-
as an owner, you're going to be working 24/7, right?
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean your employees do or do not have to. That is the question. Because a lot of times as an
And that's what
entrepreneur
they're
myself, is my mind's always going, right?
Yeah.
And as much as I have a cool idea or something in my mind that involves one of my employees that work for me, right? They don't own the company, right?
So they don't have the same mentality.
They don't have the same passion as I do. So
Yeah.
what happens is I want to get that off my mind, or there's something I want to get corrected over the weekend. And if you just continue to bog them, they never get a break.
Yeah. And we,
You know
we,
what I mean?
we
Even
battle
though you
that.
don't need one.
We battle that right now. I mean, our company name is On Call, right? So we're pretty much expected from jump to when we answer the phone, we're available to do something for you, right?
Exactly.
And so while I don't have a whole lot of experience in, not working on weekends, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I know as far as weekends go, right? Is if you're not doing it and you're in the service business, chaos equals cash,
Yeah.
right?
And
So-
depending on what side you are on,
Yep.
you
And
can
you're
be on
willing
the
to pay
winner
it.
or the loser side of that.
That's right. And I've been on the loser side to where, you have a hot water tank fucking break or leak, right? You're in a panic. You're in a hurry. You got to get stuff fixed, right? Or your AC goes out on a Saturday, of course, right?
You got a birthday party at your house, your wife's looking at you like, fix it.
That's it. And you're like, just come out here. I don't care what the cost is. Okay?
No, he's like, gotcha.
Gotcha.
Oh, birthday party on a Saturday. I love these phone calls.
Sir,
There's a 350 service call.
Yeah.
Does that include anything? No, that includes my diagnostic. Oh, you want parts for that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. My point exactly, right? We've all been on the opposite side of it, but the reality is that if you're in the service business, you should be working on the weekends. Have a plan, right? We have dedicated people that are on call on the weekends, right? And then what I do personally is
Well, hold on. Let me stop you. Because I think I'm saying you said that we should have people working on the weekends.
yes, I think that if you're the service business and you are not, or you do not have a plan, right, of capitalizing on the work that comes in on the weekends, then you're losing out on a lot of revenue that is high margin and can offset some of the lower margin stuff that you do, depending on the amount of work you're doing on the weekends. Like us, it started out at the beginning where you could pretty much guarantee we weren't doing a whole lot of stuff on the weekends, right? We didn't have the workload. But as you gradually get bigger and you can set systems up to accommodate, right, for the phone calls that are coming in, for the people that are going to put the order in, right, and then for the people that are going to facilitate the action.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if you can set that system up and it work flawlessly on the weekends, you can make a lot of money. And I know that we do stuff every Saturday, every Sunday, right? And you have to be able to also adjust when you start doing that and figure out, what things that you can get away with and what things you can't, because like we like to set systems up, or I do, where I pay the employee extra money, right, to come in and incentivize these people to do the work, right? Because that's number one. You have to be able to answer the call, and you also have to be able to facilitate the action, right? So for me, I like to pay the employee a little extra, right?
Hey, don't tell them all of our secrets.
Well,
we could charge them for this.
We probably could. That's a good point, But
I'm joking.
I know you are.
We're going to tell you our secrets.
Look, at the end of the day, if you can incentivize the person to do the action, you can manage the calls.
You have to have enough volume to justify it. And the way you do that is people trust you, right? And then you have enough volume. Eventually, you creep up and you get a big enough opportunity where you're like, okay, I'm going to start putting systems in place.
Here's where I disagree.
Because Holly Frontier is kind of your driver.
Well, here's where I disagree with what you're saying. So
I agree that you can make money on the weekends.
You can. And if you can understand what your cost is, even if you have one helper, right? And if you can incentivize him to go do that work and price your goods and services accordingly to what you for sure know the cost is, right? You can do it at any scale or any level.
I agree.
Right? So
the kicker on service business, though, is what I've always found is how do you provide the same level of service with less support?
Well, yeah, you're just cutting your expenses down.
No, I'm just saying with less support on the weekend, because you're not going to have a backup of a backup of a backup.
I mean,
but when you tell somebody you're going to be out there and you're going to get the job done,
you got to be out there and get the job done.
Exactly.
No, I know.
And you charge a premium for it too, so they're already expecting.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
A lot out of
and that's what this is about. My experience in this is basically, people need that service on the weekends, and they understand what predicament that they're in most of the time. So we like to clearly, we understand the costs, we clearly set the parameters, and we
like to clearly take advantage of that.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say that. I would say that.
It, dude.
No, it's not. Not at all. Okay. So what I'm saying is that understand your boundaries, understand your costs, and you're going to try to maximize your profits, right?
Oh, perfect.
And there's a limit to it, right? But to some capacity, it's subjective because somebody could be in a really big bind, right? And if you have a starting point of, say, every time you move on a weekend is $1,000 or $500 or whatever, and you get it every time, what are you going to do?
Hey, let me tell you a story.
You're going to raise it.
I don't know if I ever told you this story. You want me to tell you a good story? Working on the weekends?
Yeah.
Taking a phone call when you don't want to take a phone call, right?
I think I know the story, but go ahead.
About the Walmart story?
No, the Holly one. I thought it was that was a nighttime deal.
No, this is just a big cash pop that I made personally.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
When I was broke. I mean broke.
I don't know.
Okay. So I have some porta potties out because I started on the porta potty industry, right? And oil field's just crashing. So I'm moving my stuff from Stillwater to Tulsa.
Yep.
Somehow a guy saw my name on a porta potty because I only had like 20 out in Tulsa. I didn't even have Follow Frontier. This is a true story. So this guy calls me randomly on a Saturday. Well, I always had my flip phone, right, back in the day, answering all my phone calls. I need every little business I can get.
Very important. I'm going to stop you for a second. Very important for you guys to know that answering your phone is key.
It's the most important thing you'll do.
You have got to answer your phone.
All the time.
Every phone call that comes in.
Even if it says spam and you're trying to grow, answer it because you don't know.
I'm telling you, like that is like a huge topic here, right? Is I look at the call logs. I know how many calls we miss on a yearly basis, right?
Answering your phone is key. Answer your fucking phone, please.
So go ahead. Sorry.
All right. It's a big deal. Don't be stupid. Yeah. So I answer my phone. This guy's like, hey, this is so-and-so with Walmart, and we need 3 locations. We need 40 toilets per entry side. So 40 on this side, 40 on that side, and as many VIP trailers you get. I'm like, what the heck? I live in Midtown. I was like, hey, what's going on? They're like, there's a main line break in a broken arrow.
All the plumbing's fucked.
And there's no water. Yeah. And we would be better off. Our policy is if we don't have bathrooms, we can't operate a business. Mm-hmm. So what we make a day, it's cheaper for us. Whatever you're going to charge us for toilets.
For the toilets.
And you have hand wash these dishes? Oh, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So I was like, man, that's like freaking, think about that. It's like, I think it was like 30 or 40 on each side. So vestibules where you walk in the shopping carts, there's 30, 40 on this side, 30, 40 on that side. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of toilets, right? I have a 10-pot hauler.
Yeah, a lot of
Guess how many toilets I have in my yard?
How many?
They need like, I forgot what it was. It was over 100 toilets.
And they pretty much need every one of them.
I had like 5 toilets in the yard.
After that was
Total.
done? After that was done?
Period. I didn't have any money to buy any more toilets. I couldn't get them fast enough.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, this is Friday night. They call. Right? Late Friday night. He's like, I need him now. I said, okay. I was like, let me call you. He was like, can you? I've called everybody. Everybody's just telling me, like, it's not, I can't do it. I said, I'll tell you what. I'm going to send you an email with a quote. And if you sign this quote, I'll have your toilets at every location. So please send me an email. Here's my email. I need to know exactly where you need these toilets. He goes, I'm going to email you right now. I already have a site layout. I was like, perfect. It was like hand drawn on this map. So I called him back and I was like, hey, there's a lot of toilets here. I was like, when do you need these by? He goes, if you can get those to me by 7 a.m., we owe you one. And he goes, give me a quote now. I said, all right. I put $500 a day per toilet.
Holy crap. To give you a reference, we stay in probably the $80 to $100 a month.
Yeah, a day. Because I had to go pick them up. I had to go deliver them. And they wanted serviced and they wanted picked up that night. Because the water was only supposed to be off for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. And they just needed to operate.
Exactly. They didn't want to shut the doors. Yeah. So he said, I need 3 locations. Get them out here. They were out there for 4 days.
Wow.
So I paid all those restrooms off. I paid some other I had all kinds of I paid down my credit card debt. I literally paid for every single restroom, and then Holly calls like a week later and says, hey, I need all these restrooms. I had all these brand new restrooms sitting in the yard.
That's perfect. It's fate, dude. That's fate.
And so day 1 goes by. He's like, hey, I need you to keep these restrooms out here. And I said, okay. I already had trucks out there about to pick them up because I had specific parameters, right? It's Walmart. You don't want to not do what you tell them to do. They're going to win that war. So he's like, hey, I guess sitting up there, and my guy calls me. He's like, hey, they're telling me to leave these things out here. And I called my guy. He's like, hey, they haven't got that water back. Why don't you just leave those out here for another day?
You're like, yes.
Right? So this is how stupid corporate companies are. He has a quote in his box that says approved. It's per day, and I have emails every day like saying, hey, you want these out here again? Yep, keep them out here again. So 3 days go by. It's like Monday. I need these restrooms back, Eric.
To go to the next spot.
No, because I took all the restrooms off my existing construction clients.
To fulfill that order.
On the weekend.
Oh, my gosh.
So I went out to all these people. I had stuff out in oil field. I had stuff out in duplexes. I had stuff out in long-term sets. I knew that nobody would know that those were gone on the weekend. Right? So I went out.
It makes sense.
I went out, picked them up, and I delivered them.
Back without them knowing they were gone.
And I was thinking one day, okay, I can make $500 a restroom. I can go deliver them back on Sunday or Saturday night. Nobody's going to know. Mm-hmm. Right? One day, I just paid for all that crap. Well, they need them for 3 days, which is a great thing on this side.
Yeah.
Right? I'm delivering the restroom back on Monday morning. And these people are like,
what is going on?
Yes. And I'm getting,
hi.
I was still a one-man man, so I'm like getting these phone calls from the customer like, hey, did you guys pick up my toilet? I'm like, I don't know. Let me call the office. I am the office.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, what was it? I'm looking up the address, and I'm like, just straight out there. I was like, yeah, my guys accidentally picked it up. There's another house down the road. I'm like,
oh, you got it down by that time.
I get all those restrooms back out there, and I send the bill, right? Because I was like 3 days of billing, right? I just like added up. I was like, there's no way they're gonna pay this. They had the payment in my deal in less than 10 days.
I guarantee you.
That was my biggest
that probably saved them, or that probably saved them so much money.
Oh, well, think about like Wausau, Oklahoma. Some guy was telling us as a general manager, he's like, this store. I was like, yeah. He's like, this one did like 175 million last year.
Yeah, I knew it was
one
up there.
Store.
Yeah, and that was 3 stores worth that were down.
Yeah, do you think they're paying $20,000 or $15,000 a day per store and restrooms?
That's what I'm saying. They don't do 2 craps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's my cool story about answering the phone on the weekend. And in my case, how it can really benefit you in the beginning and getting a big break, because that was a huge deal for me. Now it's just like a daily revenue. I mean, that's what we do. We do way less than that a day.
For sure. And I think the lesson in this is, for us, we know that chaos equals cash. And if you can set up the systems, working on the weekends is is the way to go, right? It's just more revenue. You should do it, right?
Well, I mean,
But
you
it's-
own all different types of businesses that work on the weekend.
Yeah, it's just in the businesses that we're in, right? So yours may be different, but I'm talking service businesses. They're all fairly similar, right? You're doing plumbing or HVAC or rentals, right? So for me, doing that work on the weekend is not even a question. So set your systems up, do your work on the weekends, and you're going to reap the benefits. So, for me, the biggest piece was probably, I'd say, getting the employees on board, right, and setting that system up. If you can do that, got to get her done. What you got going over there, man?
That was making me a drink while you're talking.
My gosh.
It's
Friday.
I have a street sweeping company up here, OFS, they work weekends every single night.
In the evening, right?
Yeah, because you street sweep all these parking lots at night, right? And that's a whole different game because those street sweepers, shit goes wrong with those things all the time.
Yeah.
There's like a brush flying off here, slinging rocks. I mean, there's something always going on with those things.
Yeah, something to be said, right? Is if you have limited equipment and limited resources, and you're working on the weekends, and you have contracts or something like that, it can become burdensome if you run into some issues if you don't have backup.
I mean, it's definitely you got to be willing to answer your phone. I mean, that's at the end of the story because I always say, Eric, if you want to work people on weekends, you got to have your phone on you. Yeah. For the most part, you do. So, at the end of the day, you got to answer your phone. It doesn't matter if it's folks, let's get real. If you get a phone call at 2:00 in the morning and it's probably somebody that works for you that you don't hang out with outside of work, it's probably not fucking good. So answer your phone.
Yeah, man.
Because they might need you.
And it's so basic.
I've had many phone calls, working people at nights. One time I had this guy, this is when tracking devices first came out on trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to get some of those. Those are pretty cool. You'll be able to tell me, you mean I can tell where all my trucks are getting on my phone? Yep. I get an alert, you see all these parameters on there. And so I get an alert on my phone, like 2:00 in the morning. My phone's just going off. My wife's looking at me. She's like, what is that phone doing? I was like, well, I got these alerts on here. I set the alert at like 80 miles an hour.
Oh, gosh.
I didn't set the parameters or anything. My phone's going off. I let one of our freaking technicians came up to our office and grabbed one of the work trucks and went to the strip club.
When was this?
This is when I first started.
Oh, my Lord.
My freaking truck's going down the road alerting me. He's speeding.
He's drunk.
Right? So I can't get a hold of him. So he comes up in the office in the morning like nothing's happened. I'm like, hey, did you drive my truck on Saturday? He was like, no. I was like,
That's weird.
So I called the GPS company. I was like, hey, how accurate is this? Because he said it like believable enough where you go like, there's no way he did this.
So double check.
And I said, hey man, we got a GPS tracker on there. And I was like, he goes, man, I went to the strip club. He goes, I ran out of gas. He goes, the only place I knew gas was in my company car. We really wanted to go to the strip club. He drove up here, got my car, drove it all weekend, drove it back.
You slapped his hand. Get a good story.
No, I fired him.
Did you?
I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to fire you.
So, to your point, right, there's challenges with working.
Holy crap, there's challenges.
There's challenges with working on the weekends, right? So, understand your challenges, understand your problems, make sure you got solutions to them, right? But at the end of the day, working on the weekend in the service business, man, is the way to do it.
And if you're an owner, as you hear, you got to answer your freaking phone.
Yeah.
You have to answer your phone. There's like 9 phone calls this week you and I have got. Just conversations you and I have had that phone calls that we know they're not going to be good.
It's been a rough week.
All right. You're in a service business. You're going to have all kinds of things going wrong. But when you answer the phone, you can solve those problems. You can face them head on because you have the experience and the guts to do it. You're going to be successful. It's not that hard. It's very hard, but it's not that hard. It's very hard.
Easy.
It's very hard to answer a phone call when you know the information is not going to be good on the other side. But it just sucks.
Yeah.
It's very hard because you're like, if I don't answer this, I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But you answer them and you get past it.
Yep. Well, guys, let us know what you think about working on the weekends. Do you guys do it? Do you not? Give us some comments.
Do you make money doing it?
Do you make money doing
systems?
it?
What type of business line?
Let us know what works. So appreciate it. I'm going to Destin tomorrow.
Hey, I'll be in Salida, Colorado.
I know,
Whitewater
yours is probably
rafting
more fun than mine,
with a
but
bunch of guys.
well, I mean, that'd probably be pretty wild, I bet.
Yeah, that's gonna be wild.
Yeah. But all right.
All right, sounds good.
Thank
Bye.
you.